Hey, I'm back today, and today I'm going to be playing some Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, the arcade game. And let me get started here. I'll just throw in a bunch of credits. And I'll probably pick Michelangelo. Yeah, this game's really good. It's a classic game. A lot of people like it. I think a lot of people like Turtles in Time just a little bit more than this one, but this one's really good. I like Turtles in Time a little more. Turtles in Time's probably my favorite Ninja Turtle game, and I like it on Super Nintendo just a little bit more than the arcade game. I mean, the arcade game has, probably superior graphics and sound compared to the Super Nintendo one, but the Super Nintendo one's like really close, and it has a few different bosses. The levels are a little bit longer, and I just kind of like it more on Super. You gotta watch out for those balls rolling down the stairway. And this game's really fun. They have a version for it on the regular Nintendo, on the NES system, and it's like this game, but the graphics aren't quite as good because it's only 8-bit, but the game is longer, has some more bosses, and it's pretty fun, which I recommend either version. I always thought these little robots were tough. Just because they move around really fast and they shoot their wire out and they'll electrocute you. This part, Shredder comes up and grabs April. Well, that's after he beat Rocksteady. I'm playing the 2-player version. There's also a 4-player version, but with the 4-player version you can't pick your turtle. Like, it just depends on what controller you're using. But I like being able to select my turtle. I think this game has really great graphics and sound too. I think it's a little challenging. It's not hard just because you can keep throwing quarters in. But like on the NES version, you have so many lives and so many continues. So that adds a little bit more challenge to the game. Played like a lot of the Ninja Turtle games. The original one on NES is pretty fun. It's just really hard. I've never beaten the game yet, but one of these days I want to go through and just finish that game. I really like Follow the Foot Clan on the original Game Boy. I used to play that game all the time. And then of course Ninja Turtles, the arcade game. I would play this at the arcade machine of it. If I ever, a few times I've seen it, I would always play it. And I played the NES version a lot. Of course, Turtles in Time on Super Nintendo, which is like one of my favorite Super Nintendo games. there's a lot of great Super Nintendo games. I'd probably put Turtles in Time's like maybe in my top 10 or top 20 favorite Super Nintendo game. Just because I think it's a really good two-player game on Super Nintendo. I definitely put it like top 5 two-player games. If you want a good two-player game, there's also like Zombies Ate My Neighbors on Super Nintendo. Doing too good. Probably because I'm not used to talking too much while I play this game. But it's like you can't really not beat the game because you can put as many quarters in as you want. I feel like it's a little harder on single player. Because on multiplayer you have an extra turtle that can distract some of the enemies. I believe there's 3 Ninja Turtle games on the original Game Boy. There is 4 Ninja Turtle, well, yeah, 4 Ninja Turtle games on the original Super Nintendo, because they have the like platforming game, they have Ninja Turtles 2, the arcade game, Ninja Turtles the Manhattan Project, and then Ninja Turtles Tournament Fighter on original Nintendo. Of course they have Tournament Fighters on Super Nintendo. And then the Sega Genesis Hyperstone Heist, which is a really good game. I don't like it as much as the Turtles in Time, but I think it's a pretty good game. I mean, for Sega Genesis, it's pretty good. Plus, it's got the multiplayer. It's funny, I'll fall down in the manhole cover and that's where he has to go. So far everything right now is in the Nintendo version that I've done in this game. But there is like some, I think, extra levels in the original Nintendo game. I need that pizza. Well, I don't need it now because I just died. Man, that's too bad. I was like, yeah, I need some pizza, restore some health, and then I got hit by that gate. No problem though, because I have, you know, as many credits as I want. The game does have really good graphics though. I like the animations in the game too. Kill these Mousers and then Baxter Stockman should show up. There he is.
Come and get him, Yell Brain.
This game can be kind of tough, but it's not, you know, it's not way too hard because I play harder arcade games than this one. I just hit that guy. I like the second game because you can like throw the enemies towards the screen, but you can't do that in this game. I better add some more guys to my, or more credits to, up there in the corner for me. But you gotta watch out, the cars will drive out to you in front of you. Man, I just got swarmed with guys. Like, how am I gonna hit all those guys? And they're like shooting at me and stuff. Another good tactic is if you just jump and you can like jump kick them. Sometimes that works and sometimes it don't. Man, they're just like wrecking me. Get this guy off the screen. Man. It's like definitely made to like take your quarters with the arcade machine. Just like a lot of the arcade games. It's just like made so that way you lose your life and you just have to keep pumping quarters into it. I always loved arcade machines, but you know, like when I was younger, I never really had a chance to go play very many. I remember playing this game at the Pizza Hut. They had this arcade machine for a while. And then eventually they switched it out with, I think they had like a Captain America, or it was like the Avengers game, where you could play like Captain America and Iron Man. I remember that game being there in this game. There wasn't really like an arcade too close to where I lived. They just had like some places like the laundromat had some arcade machines, and I used to play pinball there, and then I'd play like Wizards and Warriors a lot at the laundromat. Man, I'm feeling like beat up here real bad. I definitely watched the original Ninja Turtles television show. And they had a lot of good episodes. I think the first season is probably the best because it was like the most serious season. And it had a lot of good jokes and everything, and good dialogue, and then later on it kind of got a little silly. And still had like some good episodes, but every once in a while, like You know, like the episodes would just be kind of silly and, you know, more made for like younger kids. And definitely the very first Ninja Turtle movie is like one of my favorite movies. And it like still holds up, you know, really well today. It had like good special effects, good fighting, and good dialogue. It wasn't as like cheesy as the second and third Ninja Turtle movie. Those second one's still really good, you know. I don't feel like it's aged as well. The story's not as good. They got rid of Casey Jones for whatever reason. And they added Kino, which I'd rather have Casey Jones. Then Token Razor was just kind of silly being in the show or the movie because, you know, they made them to be babies. And then of course the ninja route. And the finale where they fight Shredder was nowhere near as good as the first movie. Man, they do throw a lot of guys at the same time at you. 6 guys here just came out like from the corner of the screen, just walked out, and it's like all together. It's like crazy. You know, these things hurt you too. You have to watch out. Kind of getting wrecked tonight on this game. I like this part, it's pretty fun. Kind of reminds me of the stage on the Turtles in Time, where you're like on the board, but you're in the future. Man, just trying to hit these guys. And you get that helicopter thing away. And definitely would suck up the quarters at the arcade. I'm not doing very good. There's a lot of good arcade games like Golden Axe and, you know, like I like the Dungeons and Dragons game. The Turtle Man.
Gotta stay Splinter.
think I'm getting close to the end. I think after this level is the Technodrome. Kind of like to do like a playthrough of all the Ninja Turtle games sometime. Which I'll probably play Turtles in Time pretty soon. I like to do the arcade game and the Super Nintendo game and kind of compare like the differences. Man, these guys with the guns. It's like I try to get close to them and they shoot me and it knocks, like, I walk up to them, hit them, and then they kind of move backwards and then they shoot and then I can never get close to them. Man, look at this. I'm just getting, as soon as I get up, back up, I'm getting knocked back down again. Like, these guys are hard to hit. They're like bobbing up and down, going back and forth. Constantly shooting me, I'm stuck on the ground. A lot of times in this game I play as either Don or Leo, and their weapons are a little bit longer. So I think they can do like just a little bit more of an, they have an extended reach. So it might be easier to hit the enemies with them. I need to throw some more lives on there. That's the last credit in there. I wonder if I can make it through the game without having to add any more. Probably not. First Splinter. This is one of Crane's rock soldiers. From, I believe it's the third episode, Hot Rodding Teenagers from Dimension X. Or maybe the fourth episode. Yeah, I think it's the fourth. Because I remember the first one, first episode to save April from the like gang, and the Shredder turns the two guys into Bebop and Rocksteady, and then they go to that building and it gets flooded. And then there's an episode with Baxter Stockman making the Mousers, which I think that's the third episode. And I'm not doing too good. Yeah, I think he's in the fourth episode because at the end, Turtles beat them, and then they send the Rock Warriors back to Dimension X. And Shredder was like, "Fine, Crane, I'll make your new body." And in the last episode of the first season, Crane gets his new body. And he gets like, his body can grow in size. Which that was just a great season, great opening for the Turtles. And then the first episode of the next season, Return of the Shredder, was just kind of, you can tell like they toned it down a lot. This guy almost took all of my lives. Like all the lives I had left, he took them. I better add some more credits. Man, he's pretty tough. I just think the more players you have, the easier it is.
Thank you, my turtle.
What I thought was interesting is in the original show, the guy that does Splinter's voice also did Vernon Fenwick's voice, which I thought was really interesting. And I never knew that until I found out that he did both voices, and now I could kind of hear it in both of the characters. Man. Wow. Don't seem like I really have this much trouble this much with this game. Yeah, I think this is the last level. But then you fight Crane and then two Shredders. Cause like Shredder splits in two, but then some, like, you have to hit the real one, I guess. Cause like the helmets come off, and then if you kill the fake one, then he splits in two again. Then I don't think you do any progress unless you hit the real Shredder. And I think Shredder does like an attack, he can shrink your turtle back to a normal turtle, like instantly, and you just lose that life. I think this game has really great animation though. Just great graphics and great animation. I always liked like the, you know, cartoony, like, you know, I don't think it's 16-bit like Super, but you know, the it kind of looks like Super Nintendo type graphics. Give me that pizza. I need it. About to fight, I think it's General Trag. In the Super Nintendo version, like when you get to this point, you fight, I think it's Toka and Razor right here. And then you go through those doors, and then it takes you down an elevator and you fight in the elevator. Oh, no, that's, I'm thinking of the second game. No, I was wrong. But you do fight like in an area just like this in the second game.
Struck the turtle. Struck the turtle. Struck the turtle.
Which I think they got that idea from this game.
Struck the turtle.
He's about dead.
Struck the turtle. Struck the turtle.
I am too. I always thought these guys, enemies in the Ninja Turtle games, just have lots of health. Even in like the Nintendo version. Okay, this is the end of the game. I think he's easier than the guy I just fought. To a certain extent. I'll go throw a bunch of credit in. Just because I know Shredder's coming up. There, I got 51 lives. Crane should be about dead. He just got lots of health. There he goes. Now, Shredder. What is neat about that is in the actual series, at one point Crane loses his body, and then he's in that little walker type thing. Which is when I think the series started like going downhill a little bit, towards like the last couple of seasons. Because it was like, the show was great, it was like serious but funny, and still like, I mean still cheesy, but it was pretty good. But then the show was still good, it had like, it toned it down, it was a little less serious, but it had a lot of good stories. And then it started getting kind of too silly a lot of times. But it always had like great humor though. But then towards the end they like try to make it more serious again, but they completely like changed it. Like it had, the sky was red, it was always dark outside. April had different clothes, and then she wasn't in it as much. I don't even know if she was a reporter at that time. She always was like on the computer helping the turtles. See, there's that attack where he attacks you and then it shrinks you to a regular turtle again. Man, I can't avoid that. Okay, I know that you knock the helmet off. And then I attack the other one, I think. And it's kind of hard to attack one without hitting the other one. See, he's dead, now he's going to split again. So now you don't know which one's which. So I just attack them both anyway. Yeah, it's like definitely harder on just one player. But of course I think it's, you know, it's fun no matter how many players you have. Yeah, I got him. Well, that's the end of the game. There goes the Technodrome. Which I think in the television show they do destroy the Technodrome. Or they send it back to Dimension X, but they don't. But they trap Shredder and Crane on Earth. And Crane doesn't have his body. Then after that, like, Shredder and Crane not like the main villains anymore. Well, because after that season they send them back to Dimension X, but they don't have the Technodrome or something and they can't come back to Earth. And then they introduce like the alien villain. Like Drag or something. But yeah, that's Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, the arcade game. Like I said, I think it's a great game. It's a little challenging. It's not impossible since you can get as many lives as you want. It's really fun to play on, you know, two players, or if you play the 4-player version, it's really fun too. Like all the characters, you know, they're fun to play with. You know, you got Leonardo, he's got the swords, which he probably has a little bit better reach than Michelangelo does. But yeah, I think I'm going to end the video here and eventually play the Turtles in Time game. So thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.